when I'm sipping you. You know where I go when we're dancing. Handshakes in the Hamptons and getting drunk in the mansions with you. Yeah. And you look so classic. Come through with that magic. You know that I'm about to smash it. It's true.
Alright. Thank y'all. Let's do my handshake.
I could take it to the room or I could take it to the beach. But we gotta leave at 9 cause I gotta get my sleep. You could be the early bird, I'ma give you that worm. Get with me, I'll take you around the world. Cause if it's gold, I'll throw it away. You're worth more than every single chain. Walk with a lamp, it just means I'm cool. Next trip I take is just me and you. You know where I go.
But without further ado,
Well, I guess to close it out, we'll do our handshake.
indeed, episode 10
Signing off.
in the books. Hello, everyone. Sorry you couldn't hear us. Now you can hear us. Hello,
Oh.
everyone. The mics were not on.
Yeah, it's working now.
Okay, so I guess we
Every
introduce
single week.
every week we have something new about this. So to start us off, welcome. This is Good Friday. What? Are we making a lot of background noise?
I can hear.
All right. Hold on. We're gonna be right back.
Welcome to the Handshake. We are the sports podcast to the high five. We talk mainly on Florida sports, FSU, Florida, football and baseball, Tampa Bay also.
we dive into the latest news and stories surrounding these teams. If you want to stay up to date on when we post a podcast or video, follow our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Links to all will be in the bio. Welcome.
Hello.
For the second time we tried this. We had a little issue with our headphones, was having some playback, but we did sound fine. So
Yes.
I think we're
We
doing
just
pretty
got
good
rid of the
now.
headphones.
Just this
Yeah.
headphone.
So today with us we have James, and
What's up?
I'm Jacob.
And I'm Josh.
So this is the Handshake, the sports podcast to the high five, like we said in the intro. But we do have a large day of sports to talk about.
Quite a bit.
And I guess just go ahead and dive on in.
I guess so.
Yeah, so that brings us to our random
story of the week.
Wow, that was actually a lot better than we've done in the past.
We actually remembered the random this
Yeah.
time.
So I guess I'll start out with the random story of the week.
Why not?
To get us going and rolling. So this past week, my cat did probably one of the most cutest things. I know I've talked about Caddy for a lot of the random story of the weeks, but he did another cute thing when I came home the other day.
Oh, really?
And he was kind of like how Titan used to be, my dog that we used to have. He used to run up to me when I came home, jump up and like wag his butt and everything. It was very, very cute. Well, the other day when I came home, Caddy came around the corner and he looked at me and he sat there and he wagged his butt and he went down and he came back up and he jumped over on the couch and he started licking my face. So it was really cute. I just thought that was really like one of the cutest things of this week. And that's one thing that's like was on my mind a lot this week. So
Man loves his cat.
I do love my cat.
Man
And I
loves
used to
his cat.
love my dog a lot. So yeah.
Well, very nice. Random story of the week.
Yeah.
Do we want our guest to go? Or me? I can go. Or he can.
Sure, I'll go.
All right. Cool.
So, I Uber from time to time, from just part time when I have extra time. But Uber sometimes the directions will just bring you to the wrong side of the street, or like just a little bit off. Like it's not always perfect. But this time it took me 10 miles out of the way. Yeah. And the passenger didn't know where she was going because, like, it was a side of town that she's unfamiliar with. And we ended up, like, almost to the airport. And we were supposed to be by, like, Stoner Road. So 10 miles off. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it probably ended up charging her a lot more.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness. Oh, that bank statement's going to be so bad.
I feel bad for her. But at least she
Yeah.
made some money.
Yeah.
Did she tip good?
I haven't
Leave a
seen a
fight.
tip yet, but
Mm.
yeah, it was. I didn't end the trip when we got there, and she was like, "I have no idea where we are." It stopped us in like the middle of the street, and it said that we were at the body shop we were supposed to be at, and there was no body shop there.
That's so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Uber refunds her or helps her out with another ride or something.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. Could you imagine
yeah.
just getting in an Uber, not knowing where you're going, relying on the driver, everything? Like, for instance, whenever I went up to Tennessee, we did a whole lot of Ubering. And it's just like put it in your full faith in, because I have no idea where they're going.
Yeah.
Like her, she had no idea where she was going. And for the app to do that,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh man! Imagine if you're going to a football game and you end up being a half an hour late to the game because it took you to like a different stadium.
Instead
or
of it
something.
taking you to Doak, it took you to the Governor Square Mall.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that
'Cause,
puts
like,
you out of the way.
Because she just
Not even
put in
close.
she just put in the name of the business. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't know the physical address. She put in where her car was, where her car got towed to.
Jeez,
So-
I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, did you get her there?
Yeah, we got there. We ended up Googling it and then finding the actual address, and then I put it in my Google Maps and Apple Maps, and they both said the same thing. So I was like, well,
What
Uber's
apps
Uber
was
is dumb.
Uber? Like,
Yeah.
what?
So was her ride done when she got to
No, I
the
didn't.
destination over by the airport? Or
No,
was her
like,
ride done
it
when
was
she
still,
got?
Yeah, kept it running. Like, I could have ended it right there, but she's still in the car. As long as she's still in the car, I kept it running.
Dang.
Yeah. So she got charged the full length.
Jeez. Thank goodness he didn't start. Then I had to come up with a story that's. Wow.
Yeah.
Now you got to come up with a story that can top that. See, I started
Well,
out with kittens.
My random story of the week is there is a video going around that is surprisingly viral right now. Probably none of you have seen it because it's in a different kind of side of YouTube, but it currently has 6.8 million views.
Hey.
It is a video of a lady trying to cash a check at Fulmer's.
Oh, I saw that.
And they catch, there's some dude on YouTube, I would say his name if I actually knew the YouTube channel, but he pretty much explains like the arrest as it's going on. And he has like millions of followers and all that. And the video blew up. Millions and millions. And I'm in the video for like 15 seconds.
Wow.
Which is good enough for me. 15 seconds and 6.8
Wow.
million. Hey, man. But yeah, she got caught trying to steal, I believe it was $150,000 IRS, like, treasury check.
Oh my goodness.
And the thing about she like played it that she had no idea about it. She was like, "This just came in the mail," and then the officer was like, "Okay, from who?" "I don't know. It just came in the mail." "Okay, when?" "A couple months ago." "Okay, when did you apply for unemployment?" 2 years ago. And he was like, "All right, hold on."
None of this adds
then,
up
he
at
gave
all.
her ample opportunities and time to like fess like what was going on, because he even was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Who's that dude in your car? He's the one that gave you this fake check. I bet you that's what happened. And he told you come inside, say this, you'll get the money, you'll split it with him." And but she just like all the way until like handcuffs behind her back, she still like played it like, "Oh, I had no idea where it is." And she couldn't find the envelope, right? The whole entire conversation and investigation with the cop, right? "Oh, I don't know where the envelope is. They must have it. They opened it up on the counter so that one of you guys are looking for it." And then handcuffs are behind her back, and she's getting in the car, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And in her jacket pocket was the envelope, and he was like, "So, okay, whatever, get in the car."
I mean, we have people all the time that'll either 99% of the time they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Like, we have one guy that stole a $350,000 check. Yes, they make checks that big. And he was about 7'2", I'm not even lying. The gentleman he was trying to impersonate was a 5'2" Cuban who lived in Miami who had a $8.4 million mansion.
Oh my goodness.
He was not him. So, but like for instance, he would die on that grave of that, and then we found a picture of the guy's actual license, and the guy's like 74 years old. He's owned like 4 businesses, never lived anywhere except people.
Oh my goodness.
People, and then that's the thing. You still find these weak people that just need some money, quick cash, but then you'll have the guys who are actually doing the stealing in the car. Drop them off. They'll either go park at our other building or go up the road to that law office so they can walk down the hill so they can't get them on cameras. And then they'll just wait and they'll call them on the phone. I've had so many times where they've been arrested and stuff and the phone's just been blowing up while they're getting arrested. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've had, I think, 4 arrests this year so far.
Dang, there's some shady things going on at the pawn shop.
Love the pawn shop. But yes, that's my random story of the week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if y'all want an interesting job, come work at Fulmer's.
So we started out with a cat, then we went to a crazy Uber drive to someone trying to do a heist with a pawn shop. We progressively went up.
Now, It's time to get to the top. It's sports time.
It is sports time. And I think what can top all that is this lawsuit with the ACC and FSU.
Yes.
This is $1 billion problem.
Yes.
Not no little dinky-dink.
Yes.
$1,000.
There, a lot of stuff's been coming out the past few days as far as the ACC and FSU. There haven't been a whole bunch since we talked last week. There hasn't been a whole lot of influence as far as that. We kind of talked about Clemson getting in the mix.
We should recap that, though.
Yes, we should recap that. Pretty much what has kind of started this roll, if I guess you could say, is Clemson last week or a couple days ago pretty much filed a lawsuit as well as FSU to pretty much join suit in trying to get out of the ACC and sue out of the grant of rights that they are currently in. It's definitely, like we said last week, it's definitely going to change things a little bit because FSU isn't by themselves anymore. They have another powerhouse, Clemson, who's also trying to get out. They don't feel as like FSU does that they're getting compensated enough for the millions of more views than everyone else in the ACC combined.
Yes.
And it's crazy. It's going to be very nice that stuff's actually slowly going to start steamrolling. FSU and the ACC are pretty much just throwing snowballs at each other from 1,000 feet away at this point. Just filing motions, which that's going to happen for the next couple months. But pretty much that's going to start happening with Clemson as well.
It's almost to the point now where it's overflowed to other colleges now. There is University of North Carolina. They did not have the best March Madness. Wait, no. Yeah, they did. They lost.
They lost me money last night.
Yeah, they
lost.
Yeah, they lost last night against Alabama. So I guess in the hardship of losing against Alabama, like everybody else, they were like, screw the ACC. We want to go to somewhere else now. So North Carolina has now put their hat in the ring.
Even though this was before
It was.
let me clarify. This was before
It definitely
the Alabama, North Carolina. This was like a couple days ago, not last night. But yes, this probably adds fuel to the fire where they're like, okay, let's just join.
Try to make it a little more dramatic.
Jeez. But yes, North Carolina has kind of dipped their toe. They haven't put any suits out or anything like that, but there was a interview done with the AD of North Carolina, pretty much where he's stating that he also sees what Clemson and FSU are actually upset about. He has pretty much says that there are a bunch of good points they're making. He also makes the statement that there is a huge buyout right now. FSU fans and people are circulating $500 million. He's actually saying it might be up to $600, $700, $800 million. But he's also stating that like our AD, like Clemson's AD, they're not happy. No. They like the ACC, quote unquote, because North Carolina's been in the ACC forever. They were blue blood. They're the thing that them and Duke run the basketball, anything in the ACC.
Well, Duke is in talks too.
Duke is also in talks as well. It's going to be interesting because once you get powerhouses of football, FSU and Clemson out, and then you get the powerhouses of basketball, Louisville, Duke, North Carolina, what's going to happen? I mean, Clemson had a run. They're still Clemson's having a run this year. They just won. They're making it to the Elite Eight now.
Yeah.
I mean, FSU has been bad, but I mean, FSU has been good in the past. Baseball teams are good.
Yes, all ACC baseball teams are doing very good right now.
It's going to be an interesting 2 years. That's for sure.
It might end before football season. Something might happen before even media days.
Yeah.
Day by day, it's been changing. More people have been wanting to get into the talks. But the real question is, I don't have this written down for everybody, but where do you think all these colleges are going to go? FSU and Clemson. Like, where do you think them two are going to go?
So, probably Big Ten, but I feel like once everything's said and done, I feel like the SEC is going to want to slit the Big Ten's throat, and they're going to want to get FSU. Because at that point, it's not like, oh, we don't want them, like they're quoting right now. But then when they're out and available, it's going to be like, I either get him,
Mm-hmm.
or the Big Ten's going to get him.
And yeah,
And Clemson and whoever else they want to pick up, because
Probably
it's
North
not really
Carolina.
like a thing where they have to regulate who goes to what conference.
yeah,
It's going to be who entices that. I mean, it's pretty much going to be up to where you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if both the
Right.
Big Ten and the SEC want you, it's pretty much going to be who's going to give you more money.
Mhm.
Which right now it looks like the Big Ten, of course, because I don't know where they're getting all their North money, but
yeah.
you'd think that the SEC would be running it. But I mean, you never know. They're not going to the Big 12.
Yeah. And since I would like to, if I would like to add teams to the SEC, it would definitely be FSU and Clemson. I would see North Carolina and maybe Duke or NC State joining, and maybe Louisville. But all the other schools, I see them making a break for either the Big 10 or the Big 12.
And I could see the only way of NC State beating Duke out is because you're going to have the North Carolina NC State, and you're going to have the Clemson South Carolina game,
Yeah.
Florida State game, Auburn Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, that's
And
insane.
Louisville, Kentucky.
You're going to have it's pretty much ACC has one foe of the SEC.
Yes.
If they join,
It's the one that makes perfect sense.
really,
Yeah.
it really does. I don't get why some of these teams would even want to go to the Big Ten or go to the Big Ten, because it would cost them most likely that big game,
Yeah.
which I don't want to not play Florida, and Clemson probably doesn't want to not play South Carolina and all that stuff. I mean, it would ruin a whole bunch if they went to separate conferences, but it's interesting to see.
What you thinking?
I'm thinking they may follow each other, Clemson and FSU speaking,
Yeah.
no one else. But if they do not follow each other, which would be kind of crazy if they don't, I believe that Clemson would go to Big Ten and FSU would go to SEC, unless Big Ten offers them FSU tons of money to help them do the renovations in Doak. But I think a bunch of boosters got that
That
paid
does make.
for.
Hey, that's a good
That's
point.
the first time I've ever heard that take, and that actually makes
Perfect
a
sense.
lot of sense. If FSU and Clemson aren't going to the same conference,
Right.
they would probably go over. Big Ten would definitely probably go Clemson, and FSU would go SEC.
Yeah.
Just because Big Ten could get the grasp of the quote-unquote South with not having to go all the way down to Florida for
Right,
traveling
yes.
costs, all that
Right.
extra money.
But the Big Ten has
Yeah.
been looking into the market of Florida.
Yes, which honestly,
But why?
if
But
worse
yes,
comes to absolute
that's-
worse,
It's weird.
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like the Big Ten would add a awful team,
Oh yeah, they would have to, and it's probably
and
be
it
Miami.
would be Miami.
Yeah.
So that they could
That's
get
all
the
we had
whole
said about
group.
Florida.
So they could get the whole group of Southern Florida
Yeah.
in there.
They
and
need
then
another
could just-
Purdue.
Yes,
Like,
except
be
they're not
honest.
good at basketball.
That's probably
least
what
this
they're
year.
thinking.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as reports are saying, it sounds like Miami is very happy at staying at the ACC
Yeah.
because once everybody leaves, I mean, you're going to have.
they're going to the Sun Belt.
I mean, after at least if FSU, Clemson, North Carolina, like one other team leave, and they already have like the 3 or 4 teams that they added on, so it wouldn't make that much of a difference. It would literally be Miami, Stanford, Wake Forest, Syracuse, SMU,
Man.
Who else are we missing?
Boston
Notre Dame.
Boston
Notre Dame in certain
College.
sports.
Well, yeah, that's also going to be an interesting thing when it
Yeah.
comes down the line. Is the Notre Dame's, the BYU? No,
No, BYU's in the Big
BYU.
10.
Yeah,
Or Big 12. Been in the Big 12.
they're like 1 or 2 teams that are independent. There's Notre Dame and somebody else. But when it gets to that time, it's probably not going to be the best entrance of being independent anymore because you're not going to be in a conference. So it would be pretty much probably like having to play 2 or 3 teams from all the big conferences as your. Oh, that'd be terrible.
There's only by the end of it, there's probably just going to be 3 big conferences. You're probably going to see the Big
Yeah.
12 absorb.
Expand.
Yeah,
and
they're going to absorb all the
AAC
scrap schools
and
from.
Big
that-
E.
Yeah, yeah. They're going to go after the scrap schools from the ACC, go after the American Conference guys, and then go after everybody else. So you're going to see like kind of like a tier list,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
Like you're going to see the top 2, and then you're going to see like the 3-1. So I don't know how they will go from that. There might be like 27 different schools in each conference.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not going to happen overnight or a year or two, but like eventually it will come to that. But it's going to take them a long time to build to that because it's going to be a lot of money out front
Mm-hmm.
to do that, and
A
like,
lot.
they have to see what's profitable.
Mhm.
These schools are going to, even be worth the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
if something happens where, say, the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12 absorb so many schools from like ACC or who else, then they'll just fold,
Mm-hmm.
and then those teams will become independent, and then there'll be like a bidding thing between the 12, 10, and SEC
And
for
some-
those independent now
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah.
ACC who have now folded. It's eventually going to happen.
And some
But it's
schools
not
are
gonna be
probably going to
overnight.
lose their sports programs,
A lot of
Yeah.
which a lot of
Unless they-
people don't really realize. Is you're going to have hundreds of thousands of student athletes
Mhm.
that are no longer going to be able to play the sport anymore because there are 60 colleges that play D1 sports and not hundreds of colleges that play
Right.
D1
Yeah.
sports.
They may, like you said, that you may lose a lot of sports, but I think in some instances, like they have boosters, like Florida State's boosters, who will fork out money if possible
Mm-hmm.
to keep the program running, or they'll just become clubs, not participate in NCAA things, but just be a club.
It's literally
Yes.
going to be the NFL except with college kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kids who go to class
Maybe.
playing professional sports before they even go to the NFL. Literally the minors. Well,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, college football has been the minor leagues for the NFL. Same thing with college okay, that's a little bit different. Football is unique.
Mhm.
I mean, NBA, you have summer league, you have a couple D leagues that you can play on, all this and all that. Football, I mean, you have the Canadian League, XFL.
Yeah.
But the NFL's the NFL. They don't have any like sub leagues where you can like go practice for a little bit and you're like, okay, you're
Yeah.
good to go. I mean, you have the practice squads.
Right.
But as far as football, I mean, that's
Right.
it.
Yeah. They do have competing professional football, but it's nothing like semi-pro that is related to the NFL. I wish like the Arena Football League or the IFL or the UFL, which is just starting up, I wish that had a tie to the NFL.
Yes.
Like the 53-man
Absolutely.
roster, you're not going to have all those 53-man people
Yeah.
playing that 17, 18 game season. So having a minor league team system or farm system, either it be in the UFL or just arena leagues to go to smaller, bigger
Mhm.
cities, I feel like that would be a great tie
Yeah.
and to make it minor league. But as of right now, it's college is that minor league level.
Which it's like, if they ever did that, some receiver has 2 bad games, they send him down for a game, see how he does. If he has a better game, week 4, he's on the starting roster for the Rams that game.
Yeah,
I mean, that would
be pretty entertaining.
that would be entertaining. I'm not gonna
That would
lie.
be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be like how
Like minor league NFL teams.
like that's kind of like how sports car racing, a driver can
Yeah.
drive on multiple teams at one time,
Mhm.
and then same with that football player. That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Signed, like you can. The contracts can't. Like they can kind of conflict to where you can sign like a contract with the NFL, XFL, and CFL if you want to. So you're
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
playing football year round. You have to go practice and all that. But that would be insane.
Yeah, it's a lot on your body though. And
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of players that would
Be able
be
to do
able
that.
to do that, but there'll be a lot of players that would want to do that.
Yes.
And they would do it for a short period of time, and then they may say, "Hey, I like the NFL over blah," or "I may like
Yeah.
IFL over NFL.
Or the CFL's dope.
Yeah.
I kind of like their rules and the way
Yeah.
that the field is, and I kind of like
Right.
colder weather all the time, so I'm just gonna stay up there.
Yeah. Which I would love to see just any game that consists of football or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which I should have used as my story of the week. We went to Jacksonville this past
We
weekend,
did.
and we saw the Jacksonville Icemen play the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. And while we were there, we saw all the banners of was NAL or AFL, then NAL, and now IFL, the Jacksonville Sharks. I do really want to see a game coming up soon. I think it's next week?
Well, yeah, they have
2 weeks.
Yeah,
they have games almost every other week.
they do.
But like, I think there might be one happening tomorrow. When are you going to Jacksonville?
So I am traveling to Jacksonville in the weekend of the 12th.
Okay,
So they're
whatever
not
that-
playing that.
that's the
weekend.
weekend the
That's the
Icemen
only-
are playing.
Yeah,
The Icemen.
The
Yes,
Icemen
the
are-
Icemen. That's the
but
thing
the
that
Sharks
we
will
were
not
talking
be
about. The
playing
Sharks.
that weekend. But they're playing on the prior and
I wish
One of the
Tallahassee
before and
had
after.
like a minor something.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, a sports thing that I could go to the TLC Double C and
Right.
pay $10-15,
Right.
hang out for 2 hours, watch sports,
Yeah.
have fun. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
great.
the
Oh.
Shark tickets are $11
Yeah.
Yes.
for a ticket. You need to see a hockey game? Iceman, $20.
Mm-hmm. It's
I mean,
beautiful.
And no matter where you sit in that arena, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, while we were there, I got a little curious about the AFL. And I remember seeing a post back in November was AFL is opening to multiple teams after this season. And Tallahassee was on that list.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
And it reminded me of all the other teams that was here. And I was looking into it. Surprisingly enough, there was a good number of players from FSU that played on these AFL teams.
Oh,
Yeah.
And there's a good
Yeah.
number of Florida players that played on it also. With these players that were playing on that team, did have opportunities to either go from there and either play in the NFL,
Or
have
the
just a backup spot, or go to the CFL, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And if that ever does return to Tallahassee, you will see like players that probably didn't get a lot of playing time or got hurt their senior year, so they didn't get a draft choice.
You're going to hear a name be like, oh, didn't he play for
Mhm.
FSU
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 years ago? Oh, yeah. He's the guy that tore blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he couldn't make the draft
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna go
Jordan
see him.
Travis?
Yeah,
no,
Jordan
he's
Travis
making
is
the
making
draft.
he's making it.
Yeah, but you could see players that just can turn their whole career around
Oh,
through
yeah.
this one thing, and I say it's exciting, and I would like to see the NFL broaden out to that. And I just realized this whole thing started out with ACC.
Yes,
and now
we've
we're talking
kind
about
of
the
gotten
NFL and the
so
AFL.
probably what we're going to do since we've gone on a tangent, we're just going to take a quick little 5-minute break. We're going to come back, probably dive back into the XFL and everything,
the
start
NFL.
NFL and then league starting up because we are getting into that. But we will be right back. Give us about 5 minutes. We'll be back, and then that's what we're going to be talking about next. Huh.
So Josh, because it's opening day, or yesterday was opening day, did you hear who's on first?
Huh?
Who?
Who's on first?
Yeah, he's on first.
Yeah, who?
Is this a joke?
Yes, it is. You never seen Who's on First?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, a very very good skit by it was something brothers.
Oh, I can't remember who's it by.
Like I think it was like the Barley Brothers or something like that. There was like a big skit they did. It was who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third. Yesterday's pitching, tomorrow's catching, Saturday's in right field, and I'm lost at that point. But yeah, it's a funny skit. If you ever watch it, it's from like the 1960s.
Yeah, it's a baseball skit.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a very good
interesting.
skit. Yeah, but caught you
Yeah,
off
I
guard
had
with that.
no idea what you're talking about.
But we actually did not throw it in the news, but it is news. Yesterday was opening day for all your baseball fanatics.
Yes. Woo!
Very good.
We're undefeated still. I
Yes.
need to check the score soon,
Yeah.
but we're still undefeated.
Who was it that put up 14 runs in one
The
inning? this year?
Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks. I think
They
it was
were
Colorado.
cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Like, that's what we do in MLB The Show. When we put 14 runs up in one inning.
Yeah.
That's
There are definitely
insane.
a few. I mean, it was the very first game for everyone. There are a few teams that kind of look decent, though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even though it's a game, Boston surprisingly is going to get over 500 this year. I feel like we might have something, I don't know, something
Maybe.
a little sneaky this year.
Maybe.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Of course, the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves are looking pretty good this year. They already won their game. I think it was 9-3. They won, or 9-1, or something like that.
9-3,
Yeah.
9-1.
It was I know the Braves had 9 when they at the end of the game, but they look pretty good.
They look good.
Yeah. So with all new seasons, everything looks different. The NFL season is coming up soon. The draft is actually right upon us, and then the season, therefore, after. But there is a lot of things that is new to the NFL. And one of the most saddest things is no more drop tackles. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty now if a defensive player was to tackle somebody and pull them over with their hip. Which there is two sides to every story. A lot of people hate that, and a lot of people love it because in the college scenario, that is what took out Jordan Travis, as a lot of people do remember.
Yes.
But in the NFL story, there was a lot of great tackles with that side drop. Not a lot of people did get hurt, but when they did, like Jordan Travis' stance, it is very, very bad.
The tight end for Baltimore, yeah, he got drop tackled and he got hurt pretty. They can go well and they can't go well. When they go well, it's fine. It's just a regular tackle. But when drop tackles go bad, it's terrible.
Yes. A lot of people are making the argument, learn how to tackle. Which, yes, learn how to tackle correctly. And a lot of people do not know how to tackle correctly in the game of football.
No.
But when you have somebody that is a lot faster than you and is already in the momentum of passing you, and you're a big boy, easiest thing to do is to flop the guy like a pancake. But now it's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and a lot of people are saying that the refs of the NFL like to throw flags like people use tissue paper in a pollinating season. They might throw these flags for just a regular tackle, just like they've called random face mask calls this past year. So people are a little scared of it.
I feel like the very first 2 to 3 weeks, the amount of flags that are going to be thrown because of it is going to be insane.
Right. It's going to be like, oh, it's an aggressive tackle, and I'm just going to throw a flag for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and probably not even. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. I just wasn't seeing the green.
I can turn them up.
They're probably fine.
Yeah, they should be.
But yeah, like, they're going to be throwing the flag for everything that just looks like a rough tackle in the ref's opinion until they straighten things out. And then also another factor of injuries is the turf or the grass.
Mm-hmm.
So like in Jordan Travis situation, like it could have been, well, that was a pretty bad how he went over this hip, but a better turf probably would have prevented that.
It was wet that night.
It was very
did
wet,
rain.
sticky, and that was natural grass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was muddy, and it's like his foot stuck to the ground. So
well, we watched Aaron Rodgers tear his ACL with nobody 5 yards away from him at the Jets' awful turf field. So anything is possible. You can get hurt at any situation. But I get they're trying to be more safe for a lot of the players. But there is a way to have it. Like the excessive roughness that has been around for a long time. Just expand on the excessive roughness on a tackle.
Yeah.
Not make a whole new rule
to where they're going to throw a flag, and instead of saying, personal foul or necessary roughness, they're going to be like drop tackle, blah, 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 15 yards.
Yeah. It's a lot of craziness with the NFL, which they haven't made the right decisions for a long time.
They have not.
But recently, people have been asking for a change with our kickoff returns. And actually, the NFL listened. They are now using the UFL method of kickoffs. This is hopefully going to expand a kickoff rate for the NFL because last year there was only a 22% return of a kickoff. So that means 80 or 78% of those kickoffs will go straight over people's heads and they didn't return it or they'll just call a fair catch. That's not good. So they're trying to produce 80% more kickoff returns, and that, I guess that means 100%. They want 100% kickoff returns, and that's what they're going to get. Because how they have things set up, I'm actually going to put that on here on OBS so y'all can look at it for a second. I have that little rule change. So if y'all look at this, the kickoff is still going to be at the 35-yard line. What they're going to be trying to do is kick into the landing zone. That is in between the 20-yard line and the front of the end zone. If it lands into the end zone, there is a penalty upon that. So if it is a touchback, like we all know, it comes out to it's a 40-yard line. Any kick that is down, or as a touchback, it is a 30-yard line. And if it is short of the landing zone, it's to the team's 40.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there is no more onside kick until the fourth quarter begins, and a team that is trailing for the team that is trailing. A current onside kick rule would only apply. Kickoffs after safeties will only be from the 20, and the kicker will have the option to use a tee setup or the landing zone will not change. Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that they are doing this.
I don't like it. That's
I love it.
Too restricting.
Too restricting.
You think so? I think it's going to be a lot of fun because the UFL, their kickoff returns are a lot of fun to watch. You think they're terrible?
Okay, so I don't feel like they should have the setup where they're all on the line. However, I still feel like they should do the landing zone thing.
Mm-hmm. The line thing is kind of weird. I do agree with that. The landing zone is...
I like how they have the setup to where, if you somehow mess up and you kick it short...
Mm-hmm. Well, so they do have it where the team that is trying to be the defense on the kickoff, they are only allowed to move until the ball is into the returner's hand. Once the ball hits the returner's hand, the defensive team is allowed to move. Until then, they can't move. So it does make it more of a closed gap to make it lined up. Because people that on the kickoff returns, you got your defensive team, they're running full sprints down, and you got these guys trying to defend the kick returner. They're sitting there still. These guys are coming full force, and they're trying to block the best they can. And a lot of times your kick returner doesn't trust that, so they're going to let it go past. But with this, your kick returner is just like, okay, I'm watching this guy. As soon as I catch it, I'm going to try to go to this weaker guy. Or I'm going to try to go with my blockers here because they can push me upfield. It's literally just a play at this point.
And it's definitely going to be a lot of more film watching as far as not really, I guess, speed, but more of the speed and not really the blockability. Because you're going to be able to block somebody who's standing 5 yards in front of you, I assume so, and not running at you from 40 yards at full speed. Now, speed's definitely going to be a big point
It is.
in this, for sure. You're going to want to run to the side who has the slowest people, who probably can get blocked up well. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I want to know who they're going to put on those lines, though, on the kickoff returns.
Can they shift side to side before received?
No, yeah, to be in
It's
their spots.
stationary.
Yeah. Yep.
So if the ball...
That would be cool if they can't advance. They got a line right there. Can't advance it, but you can move side to side to like a foosball table. Prepare.
You
which
can just
side.
run back and forth, and you can just switch and all
then
that, and then
right.
get set, and then kick.
He catches. You can cross that line. I don't know.
It's going to be an interesting concept.
It is. There's going to be a lot of coaches that are going to play with this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're going to see some creative plays through this. Hopefully, we see a lot of kickoff returns.
Yes.
But if not, they might be going back to the old rules, maybe midway through the season or just at the end of the season. This is just a little test that they are doing. But the UFL has shown, or at the time it was the XFL and the USFL, they both used that format of playing, and they both showed positive results on this.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of kickoff returns for a touchdown, and there was a lot of net gain on a kickoff return that a lot of people did not see happening when it was first brought forth as an idea. So it's exciting to see in the NFL players that, like Tyreek Hill maybe returning this, like that's going to be entertaining.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun for sure.
Yeah, but speaking about the UFL and NFL taking their ideas, the UFL is starting their first games tomorrow and Sunday.
We were talking about opening day for baseball yesterday, and now opening day for the UFL is tomorrow.
Yes. The Week 1 showcase has a lot of anticipated matchups for right now. So the Birmingham Stallions are playing the Arlington Renegades. Both teams are respective champions of their conferences from last year, the USFL and the XFL. And that's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox tomorrow.
Are those both horses?
Yeah.
No. Yes. No, the Renegades is a Cowboys. Like they're like a cowboy outlaw.
It's also a horse.
It is a horse,
A
but
renegade
yeah.
is a horse. And
So it's the horses versus the horses, or the horses versus the Cowboys, whichever way you want to look at it.
And then after, they're going to be the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Michigan Panthers. That is another exciting matchup because Michigan Panthers, I think, has clean uniforms. It has the gold tops with the garnet unis with the navy blue stripes on it. I think it looks really good. The DC Defenders play San Antonio Brahmas. They play at noon on the 31st on Sunday.
San Antonio has by far the best logo I think I've seen.
The Bulls logo. Yeah.
It's so clean. So clean.
And after that, at 3 p.m., Memphis Showboats and the Houston Roughnecks will be playing. Memphis Showboats, their first season was last year with the USFL.
Yes.
That was the team that actually took where the Tampa Bay Bandits were in the USFL. But I hope to see the Tampa Bay Bandits return.
yeah,
That
be
was a
dope.
cool team.
I wanted to see the Bandits.
Yeah.
They look like a really cool logo and team.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been, if they do return, we gotta go.
One team I wish I did see in person was when the AAF was around, and that was the Orlando Apollos. And it wasn't because Steve Spurrier was the coach. It was because that team was fun to watch on TV. And the AAF was actually very exciting. And I got to give respect to the AAF because without them, the USFL and the XFL would have actually never had enough hype to return at that point. because a lot of people saw how good the AAF was at that time. They're like, we do need that summer ball back. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I have everything set to record, and hopefully we can give y'all some highlights and some videos to watch next week, and we can be talking about some of the games.
Indeed,
Yeah.
yes. I'll probably be putting on the Stallions and Renegades game at work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be very good to watch. But in jersey news, and NFL jersey news,
Yes, that
Yes.
is correct.
there are a couple of teams, 4 teams to be exact, that are going to be getting some new jerseys.
And some new hats.
Yes, the Jets are getting all new top to bottom jerseys, and might be just retroing back to what they had. I think it was in the 2006 era with the white lids.
Mm-hmm.
Those looked really good, so I think they're going to be reverting back to that. The Lions, they are going to be updating their uniforms. It is very, very long since they've had one. I think since 2008, they're going to be getting some new ones. The Texans, which we teased last week, they are getting some new uniforms.
They have C.J. Stroud, and now they're like, oh, we finally can get new jerseys,
Yeah.
everyone. Come on.
It would be the first updated jerseys they've had since their existence.
Yes, because they are I guess you could say, very new team.
Yeah, one of the newest teams.
One of the newest
I think
teams
the
in the
newest team,
yes.
yeah. The Broncos will be getting new jerseys this year. They teased that their jerseys will have an aspect of their surrounding area, the geographical area. So a lot of people are showing that there might be mountains on the sleeves. And orange jerseys with blue sleeves with mountains. So hopefully that does come true.
Clean.
That would look very clean. And so they are set to release those uniforms mid-April, right before the draft happens. The Jets have said that they are going to release theirs, I think, the day before the draft. So that's going to be fun to watch. People that are getting new lids are going to be the Browns.
Which means...
Wait, actually, the Browns are getting whole new uniforms, I think.
Which means you get to see Jameis Winston in brand new Cleveland Browns attire.
Yeah. No, they're just getting helmets. That's how I have it. Okay.
Just getting a new helmet.
Yeah, so I think what they're doing is just wearing white face masks instead of brown. That is what one person has said on Twitter.
That minor change would actually make those uniforms look really good. Especially when they're wearing the white unis. Oh, man.
So people have also stated that the Packers are in talks to get new alternate helmets this year. So everybody knows the Packers, and they've always worn the yellow helmets, the cheese heads.
Yep.
And there has now been talks about maybe going into wearing a green helmet.
Oh.
Ooh, that does sound pretty good.
A green
Yeah,
helmet.
some people said either green or white. Hopefully not black, but I would say green or white would be a very good choice.
White would look
Yeah,
clean.
we'll see something different than
The yellow. Oh,
running
man.
around.
Yeah, and also the Jaguars might be getting another alternate helmet. Definitely need something like that because we finally got some good uniforms in Jacksonville.
Yes.
After the little gradient look that they had for a little bit. So adding a alternate helmet I think would be very clean.
Very much
And
so.
a couple of months ago, there was a lot of people that were showing the old look of the Jaguars helmet, like the first helmet that the Jags were going to use. It was gray, and it had a black stripe down it. And a lot of people on Twitter are texting around and saying, what if the Jags have gray helmets? Honestly, gray helmets on teal?
Oh, yeah. I thought that would be
That would
clean.
look so
Very good.
clean.
Very, very good.
So
Throw some
clean.
flake in there.
Mm,
To make it sparkle.
it would look beautiful.
Like that Bucks helmet right there.
The Jags would have probably one of the best looking uniforms if they do that. Almost as good as the Bucks. I think the Bucks have the best looking uniforms in the
I really
NFL.
like
They really do. It's so good looking.
Yeah. If I had to pick second, it'd probably be the Bills. I love the Bills uniforms. It's so basic, but they look so clean. Especially that white, blue, white. Beautiful.
Well, I was looking up the Boston score, but of course they're playing at Seattle, so the game's not until 10 o'clock.
next is the baseball, but I think we're going to take a quick break. All right, yeah. So we are going to take a quick little break after talking about all this NFL and football news.
Yes.
So when we come back, we are going to be talking about FSU's rise up, being so good in baseball.
And Florida's fall to where FSU used to be.
Yes. And after that, we'll be talking about more updates on spring practice.
And
update on March Madness.
Yes, indeed. The update on March Madness. I'll probably give you a score update because there's 2 games going on right now, and an update on a former player of the University of Florida.
Hey, he ain't no Gator no more, so ain't my business.
He was never a Gator.
Yeah, if he's gonna do that, he was never a Gator.
Okay.
But other than that, we'll be right
back.
back. Just bear with us. So, James, this past weekend, or last Friday and last Sunday was our birthdays, and Logan's birthday.
That was right. Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Yeah.
So what are you wearing, James?
I'm wearing a Wayne Taylor Racing Dex Imaging jersey from the number 40 team. This is the one that Jordan Taylor is on, that Jacob and my favorite race car driver. He currently drives on this team. He did drive on this team that his brother currently is on, the number 10, kind of like a Minolta Wayne Taylor Racing. But yeah, when we first got into following Jordan heavily, what would you say, about 2015 is like when
Heavily following him? Probably like 2014, yeah.
Yeah, because like I was talking to him a couple of times on Snapchats, and probably 3 years in a row that but he was on the number 10 team at that time, and then he hopped over to Corvette Racing, but he's currently on this one. This is what Jacob and I got for our birthday. I bought this past January when we went to Daytona.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go good together. But yeah, Jacob got the identical one, and he's wearing
I'm wearing a Kevin Harvick Busch jersey. This is from his last season, last
Ford
year.
jersey.
Yeah, my only Ford jersey I'll probably ever buy. But you don't like Kevin Harvick? He's a big Kyle Busch fan.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. He is a good guy. But yeah, I got this up in Bristol when we were up there, and like James said, I got an identical Wayne Taylor jersey. Our mom bought it for us when we were watching the 24-hour race. We went in and we saw it, and I was just like, man, I really want this jersey, but I don't know if I should buy it right now.
Right.
And then once we walked out, our mom bought both of us a jersey, so that was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Mom, if you're watching, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Here's the back of it.
Yeah, so you got Jordan Taylor, there's Jenson Button,
Bless you.
and I'm not good on these two guys'
Bless you.
first name, but that's Deltraz and Herta. So, yeah, those were all the drivers of the 40 team. They did not win the 24-hour race, but they did win the 12 hours of Sebring this past weekend.
They got second in Daytona.
Yeah, they got second in Daytona.
And then first, or was it third?
Yeah.
But first.
Second by someone got disqualified.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they we actually got to watch the car this car, the number 10 car in the pits for quite a while. It had a weird electrical issue. The dashboard just started smoking in the car, and Ricky Taylor was about to get in it. It just woke him up, and yeah, they had to pull this car out of the race. But
that was 2:00 in the morning. We sat there and watched.
That's insane.
Yeah. It was. We sat there for almost like an hour and a half, just watching the head mechanic talk to the head Honda mechanic, and then next, an Acura mechanic comes in. So like you had all these really, really high up guys sitting there talking and everything. And it was cool because we were right there. And Wayne Taylor sitting right in front of us, the owner of the car, and then Ricky comes through and like he says hey to all the kids. And he's sitting there talking. That's like one of the coolest experiences right there. Even though it was our favorite team, sitting there in the pits, losing laps. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But moving on from our jerseys. Our jerseys. I thought I was going this way for a second. The little mirror look we have.
Yeah.
But moving on from there, let's talk about some baseball. Josh is all giddy right now.
Yes. So as far as this season has gone, one team has had a little bit of a harder time than the other team has as far as R2, or they're both Florida fans. I didn't know if you knew that. He's a diehard Gator too.
Yes.
I'm the Florida State fan. The tides have switched a bit, if you would say. This is usually the record FSU would have in this time of the season, and then they would start slowly getting a little momentum going, and then Florida would be
probably 2 losses, maybe
2 losses, 3 losses, and
starting
that
out
would be
good,
that.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's flip flopped.
Yeah.
Yes.
As of right now, Florida is 14-10. So not looking pretty good for them.
That looks bad.
They're almost to 500 and not in the way that you would want to be going. Right now, Florida is 2-6 in midweek games so far this season. They are definitely putting the mid in midweek. So, yeah, this past Tuesday they lost to Florida State 14-3, and that was 10-run ruled in the 8th inning. The only good thing that happened for Florida, and the only good thing that's happened for Florida this whole season, is Jack Caglione. He hit his 10th homer,
His 10th, 11th,
and 12th homer of the season
over these past few days.
Yeah, but it was a 3-run shot against Florida State when he got his 12th homer. That was the only runs we had the whole entire game.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was a walk single, and then there was a ball thrown over literally the center of the plate, and that was the only time that happened the rest of the game.
Yep.
But as far as today goes, I just checked in on the FSU baseball team. Actually, I'll give you the live update in just a sec. But FSU baseball is 21-3. After the game tonight, they're 21-4.
Wait, what?
Yes, they just actually, 21-4. They beat Louisville last night. Tonight, they couldn't quite get the bats going, losing 5-3. They will play tomorrow. We will see if FSU does get that series, which they will. It didn't seem like FSU was really having a good night tonight as far as the bats at all, which this is the first game FSU has had no offense whatsoever. I don't know what it was. Maybe because it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, and we played at Clemson Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Jacksonville
on
Tuesday, and then 2 days later you're playing a home series.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. I'm surprised that they're still keeping it going, but
That's a lot of baseball.
yes, a lot of baseball. FSU was undefeated until this past weekend, where they went up to South Carolina, where they played number 3 Clemson. They did drop all 3 games. The first game was a blowout where FSU actually did get run ruled for the first time this season. However, the next 2 games, FSU had a big lead until the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and then the bullpen pretty much pooped themselves both games, and then we lost both, which we could have won that series, but FSU's looking hot. They're getting some games going, like he was talking about. FSU won 14-3 with the 10-run rule in the 8th inning. I mean, they dropped us from 12 to 17 from losing to Clemson. So I'm interested to see, after beating number 6 Florida and having probably a series win over Louisville, what that does. Probably drops us, and then Florida moves to the 4th country in the nation, because that's how D1 baseball rankings work.
Yeah, I don't understand how Florida's ranked so high.
We literally, every single day at work, this doesn't even involve them. We're at work talking, how can you have 10 losses and be number 6 in the nation? I don't get it. I don't think there's ever been a history of a team ever.
It makes no sense.
Did y'all win the World Series last year? No.
No.
Then there's no reason whatsoever.
I think we played in the World Series, though. That's the thing.
But
we lost a lot of players. We only had, I think, 4 returners on our team this year. A lot of freshmen are playing. I think we have 2 transfers on our team. But other than that, it's a young squad. So I don't understand why we're ranked so high, because we're probably not going to have a great season overall.
I think someone's forgetting to put in the stats, and then hit the refresh button.
Did you see Jack's
nothing's
stat line of having the 12 home runs? And they're 6 in the nation.
Yeah.
6 in the nation. I don't care how many losses they have. 6 in the nation.
Well,
Jack Caglione, I love you.
The other day, me and James were looking at Florida's Instagram, and 2 of their pitchers got SEC Player of the Week, and we're like, who is this guy?
And it's why? Why?
We're like, I don't remember him pitching that well.
Nope. No,
But
no.
we're doing. I think we're ranked pretty high, I guess.
Woo.
Yeah, but as Florida is known in their past, is they start building up some steams with their bats. And hopefully that does happen. And hopefully FSU can keep their going. Because I would like to see both Florida and Florida State end up in Omaha. That would be a lot of fun. And I've said this almost every podcast we brought up baseball. But I hope very good things for both teams. More for Florida. But yes.
It would be cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the rankings are going, I don't know.
Yeah.
They might be below 500 and still be in the top 25.
That just makes no sense.
But kind of moving along from that, there is some other college sports that actually are going on right now. It is March Madness, the Sweet 16 games. At least the first round of them were played yesterday, and then we have some getting played today.
Yes.
While Jacob tells you the scores that were of yesterday, I will go ahead and get the updates of the games right now.
So yesterday, Clemson and Arizona faced off. That was a number 6 seed Clemson versus number 2 seed Arizona. And Clemson ends up knocking them off 77-72. Moving on from there, you have UConn, number 1 seed, a fan favorite that everybody loves, beating San Diego State 82-52. Alabama comes in and pulls out an upset against North Carolina because earlier on in the season, North Carolina ended up beating Alabama. And a lot of people were going crazy about that. So there was a lot of talks about maybe North Carolina was going to move along and keep it going. But Alabama ends up having that upset. Illinois ends up playing Iowa State, beating them 72-69. A lot of people lost a lot of money on that one, pulling Iowa State, going to beat them. But that ended up not happening. But I think the Sweet 16, or the 8 teams on that side, that was a lot of tough games that a lot of people had teams going far. I did have North Carolina beating Alabama in my bracket. And I had Clemson losing to Arizona. It's actually crazy. In my bracket that I had, I was wrong in a lot of the 64 and the 32 seed. But when it came down to the Sweet 16, I was on, I think it was majority of my picks were in the Sweet 16. And hopefully, Houston can beat off Duke, that I predicted that would be in this situation, and can move on because I have Houston winning the whole entire thing. So tonight, we have Marquette and NC State playing. That was at 7:09. He has an update on that right now. But there is Purdue and Gonzaga playing. That was at 7:39. He would also have the update. And as of right now, I think tip-off was a couple minutes ago. Or it's actually in a couple minutes, is the Houston and Duke game. And then after that, at 10:09 p.m. tonight, there's going to be the Tennessee and Creighton game. I know that we are going to be watching both the Houston and Duke game and the Tennessee Creighton game at, what township tonight?
Wherever we go, yeah. I'm going to, because, fun fact, I have a little bit of money on the games this evening.
He's a Shohei now.
I am the Otani. I am the Otani of Tallahassee, baby. I am the Otani of Tallahassee.
Get you an
Except I'm not doing anything illegal because I work at a pawn shop and I don't actively play MLB sports and get paid almost $1 billion to do so. So looking at the games for this evening, now, it's actually a big shock as far as the college basketball world goes. Not a big shock to me. Kind of knew this was going to happen. Should have taken a little bit. I'm not going to really get into betting tonight. But so NC State was a massive underdog for the Marquette game. Surprisingly, they do pull off the win just now at finalized. They won by 12.
Really? Dang. A lot of people didn't have NC State going this far.
No, they did not. So NC State will move on to the Elite Eight. This is actually a crazy run. They are get this, an 11 seed. I think this is the closest 11 seed run that's happened in a long time. And then currently we do have the Gonzaga-Purdue game. There's about 3 minutes left in that game. Purdue 76, Gonzaga 59.
Ooh.
I picked Purdue to cover the spread. However, Dalton, one of our good friends, wanted to tell me I was very dumb in picking that. He picked Gonzaga, who looks like the dummy now. So it does look like Purdue is going to pull off the win and move on to the Elite Eight as well. Like Jacob said, we do have Duke playing Houston. They are the underdog, of course, in that game. Then we are going to have Tennessee and Creighton play. It's going to be number 2 versus number 3. Going to be a little bit closer. Of course, Tennessee is going to be favored in that game as well. And then we will have the Elite Eight set up.
Yes. I'm excited about that.
I am too. Very excited.
Hopefully Houston goes all the way like I had them. Who did you have go all the way again? Was it North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
I should have picked like Clemson to go 6th seed to win the national title. Like, look at the seeding.
Both of the teams we picked both go out and
look at all the seeding that's still left. We have a 6th seed, a 5 seed, an 11th seed, another 5 seed, and a 4 seed. So you have literally the 2 ACC teams that said, everybody said the ACC is terrible this year. You have Duke and North Carolina. Nobody else is good. Now you have NC State and Clemson making runs into the Elite Eight.
Well, you also have, if Alabama and Tennessee, if Tennessee wins tonight, you both have 2 SEC teams in the Elite Eight.
Well, if Duke beats Houston, there'll be 3 ACC teams in the Elite Eight.
That is true. That is true. Dang, you are right.
Which the ACC,
Come on,
SEC
Florida,
was
you
the
could've
big. I bet on y'all too, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all let me down. The Gators let me down. Which, that's probably the first time I've ever said that.
I think so.
The Gators let me down.
That's the first time he has ever said that.
Hey, welcome to the club. Gators let us down all the time.
Jeez.
But in all kinds of weather.
All kinds of weather.
But speaking of all kinds of weather, football season is on the horizon of sports, college sports. And with all good college sports, there's a lot of hazing that goes along. I say hazing because every Georgia player has a good DUI go along with him. Trevor Etienne, my man, went out for a good old celebration on my birthday, and he came home in a squad car. A good old DUI. So they picked him up, and he was blowing way heavy over the zeros, and the cops got a little suspicious about that. Brought him in. He had bail the same exact night. I think he will be suspended the first game, but there is talks that his suspension will be extended. So, yeah.
Good.
As a Florida fan, kind of makes me
Y'all are
smile ear to
happy.
ear because
I'm so sad.
you know, you leave a team that was your first choice coming into college. And I talk to people about this a lot. What's up?
I have the setting.
The setting?
ETN will be suspended until the game in Jacksonville. His game, first game back, will be against Florida in Jacksonville.
Probably not. I don't think he'll be suspended that long.
If that happens,
Yeah, there's no way he'll be suspended that
Come
long.
on, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, NCAA.
No,
Do
no,
it.
no, no.
Do it, do it, do it.
that would be an uproar if that happened.
Yeah. But he did leave a school that was his first pick. And I talked to a lot of people this past week about that. That was his first choice. And that was his first, pick to go to college. You left. Why do you have to speak ill upon Florida? Because he did speak ill on Florida when he went on a podcast about a month ago. He was talking about how there is a lot of... he would rather be a first-string running back at a team that wants to go to a national championship instead of being a backup running back to a team that is going to go 5-7 for 2 years in a row. That is a good point, but try not to have bad blood from a team you just left, which that leads me on to
Someone
Princely-
else who else
Yeah.
has a problem with Florida.
Umanu, I can't say his last name, but we'll
He's
just
a
say
big
Princely.
boy.
Yeah, he is
He's
a big
boy.
guy. So he was one of Florida's players last year. I think a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, defensive end. He was the second string defensive end, but he did get a lot of playing time. He was our second best player on the defensive side of the ball. he went over to Ole Miss this past year, transferred over there, and he had a statement to say about Florida, saying that he was told when he was out there playing for Florida just to go out and use his talents. He wasn't told to, wasn't coached and built upon what he's done wrong and tried to, constructive criticism. He says over there at Ole Miss he's being developed a lot more, and the coaches are more and more in depth with what he's doing. But there is some Florida players that went into the draft. I can't remember exactly his name, but he tweeted out right after that was said, and he said, I was there on the team. I know what happened at practice, and I know for a fact those coaches worked in depth with him, and they were there for him through everything that they went through. So, don't know if he built up some steam in the pot just to get it to steep over, or if there's actually some noodles in there getting ready to get cooked. So, don't know if the news is real or not, if what he's saying is true.
I guess we'll see if y'all go 5-7 again.
We guess maybe. You never know. We might go 5-7. Might go 6-6. Make a bowl game.
Or go 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we beat Miami.
Let's go.
As long as we beat Miami, I don't care if we go 3-9. I don't care if we go 3-9 as long as we're beating Miami week 1.
I just want to beat Miami, Tennessee, and get some revenge on Kentucky. That's all I want.
Freaking Kentucky.
The FBS teams can have the dubs. They can go ahead and take the $500K and the win. Just not Tennessee or Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, Gators.
What's some news for FSU on the spring practice?
So, a bunch of FSU guys are putting on weight in a good way, which
like
Florida and Miami Twitter wanted to turn it into they're just getting fat, which then turned back into FSU just retweeting that defensive tackle that y'all had that have legs bigger than some running back's entire body. It's just one leg. But it is good. I feel like Coach Storm's doing a really good job as far as the weight room goes. DJ has put on 10 pounds of muscle. He is now 6'4", 255. Or 255 or 265. Like, the man is ginormous.
Jeez.
Built. Every, a bunch of starters on FSU's team are gaining, all of them are gaining 10, 12, 15 pounds of muscle in 4 months.
Wow.
So I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know who we got on the Alabama diet finally, but I'm glad because it's taken a long time to get on that Alabama diet.
I know what happened. Them Alabama transfers came over, and they had a
thinking
big
that.
old crock pot, and they said, "Hey boy, this is that Alabama cornbread right here. This is going to make us blitz, Florida State blitz. I'm telling you."
But
You
yes.
sound like you were from Louisiana.
No, it was kind of Louisiana. Yeah.
But
You
yes,
eat
spring
this gumbo,
practice is going well for FSU. I'm excited for the spring game, of course, even though spring games, like we've said in past podcasts, aren't what they used to be. But I am excited to see DJ Uiagalelei and a bunch of the other FSU starters actually get out there and to kind of see what we're working with this season.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you bring the hot sauce?
No, we're
See,
not
last
doing
time
that.
we tried to
plenty
do
of
the
other
hot
hot
sauce.
sauces.
Yeah. Last time we tried to do the hot sauce with James on our podcast, our
Apparently the
video glitched out and you
Yeah.
couldn't see the whole entire time.
That was a good video.
Yeah, one day we'll try to do it again.
yes.
Maybe with hot sauce that's not so hot.
No, that hot sauce.
No, that hot sauce. It has to be
Gotta
that
be
hot
that
sauce.
hot
It has to be that hot
Oh,
sauce.
it's pretty fire.
It's called
Not in a
The
good
End.
way.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm.
It
It's
burns.
because this guy doesn't have any taste buds left because they live next to people who eat very spicy food.
Yes. Very, very spicy.
They
very
said the hot
spicy.
sauce is hot.
Yes.
When they say the hot sauce is hot, you know it's hot.
It's hot.
You know it's hot. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Was there something else?
Well, I was
can't
gonna
think of anything.
give
else.
James a little floor.
Oh,
and talk
indeed.
about what he does on day-to-day life,
Absolutely.
and basically just introduce yourself to our audience, because we gave Leah time to do that at the end of our podcast.
Okay. Nothing much. I am a night dispatch supervisor for a distribution center that delivers groceries. So we are the transportation company that provides transportation for the warehouse. But do that at night, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I was just waking up right before this went live. Don't work tonight though. I do have the night off.
Yeah. He gets to come enjoy the nightlife with us.
Yeah. So, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I Uber on the side just when I have a bunch of free time during the day when I'm not sleeping, but
What's your
which
hobbies?
isn't much. Hobbies. I guess I bowl twice a week. Spend a lot of money doing that. I like to play pool. I'm good at that.
Very good at it.
Good at darts. Or any board game.
Yeah.
Used to disc golf a lot with Lee, but he just got too good.
Way too good for us.
He's extremely good.
That man, he can.
Yeah, it takes me like 4 throws to catch up to his drive sometimes. Unless
He's
I get
got
like
some long arms.
Yeah. Yeah, my backhand is not strong. My flick is stronger than backhand, and
Mine is too.
his backhand is insane. Like, I can't remember the distance, but he said in one podcast that he was keeping up with one of the pros out there at Tom Brown.
Jeez.
When was that? But it was one of the first podcasts.
Yeah. That man, he could throw far.
Oh, yeah. You can throw it far.
Yeah, Lee, if you're watching, mad respect. Mad respect.
That's right. Other than that, that's it. I'd like to get into kart racing one day. So if anybody watching this has a open spot, but so actually Wayne Taylor Racing is actually hiring like multiple spots. So like on their website they have engineers, mechanics, videographers, some tech positions to work on their simulations.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty sick.
Might send in a resume to Wayne Taylor.
Dude, try it. See what happens. That'd be cool.
Constant traveling though. You'll never be home.
Yeah, that is true. But it'll be fun.
But yeah, I'd like to get on a kart racing team though.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Another hobby to do.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight and being on the podcast. He actually brought over all the lights and I guess I brought this. Oh, and the computer. That's the main thing that we needed tonight.
Yes.
So
Very
thank
much
you
so.
for being here.
Oh yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It was a pleasure. But I guess without further ado.
And thank y'all for being here.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you for watching.
Hope everybody has a blessed Easter and happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday.
Yes. And not a lot of people celebrate Easter, but if you do, there's a lot of places doing sunrise service, and that's always fun to go to. Yeah. But hopefully y'all have fun with y'all's families this weekend. And yes, I guess without further ado, we'll be signing out. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir.
And a good old dap up. All right. Peace out. Thank y'all.